Welcome back, guys, to Tales of Arise. For last episode, we continued descending through Rena by traversing Gegham Helgrahi upper level floor 1, reaching a room filled with dead Helgenquill preserved in chambers before a giant beast, Balclinimus, attacked, defeating the creation that Dohilin theorized was made of those that won the crown contest in the past. We now continue on, hoping to be able to take a small break from this dungeon.
We're not gonna jump down, right?
I certainly hope not.
After hearing Dohilin's suggestion, I'm honestly not sure what to say.
I assure you all, I was merely stating the possibility.
Yes, we're not jumping down, but there we go. That was what I was waiting for someone to bring up after all of this time. What happens to the swords who win the crown contest? I guess that's one version of events, right? They get turned into biological weapons.
So, looks like the Helgenquill have been engineering Zeugles too. Why doesn't that surprise me at this point?
The creatures we've been encountering here have been a little different to what we're used to fighting, but I'm pretty sure they're Zeugles too.
Do you think they were engineered using creatures native to the area?
Indeed. However, based on the current circumstances, I would guess these Zeugles are all that's left of the planet's fauna now.
You mean, there might have been native owl species here once upon a time too?
A big, gigantic owl comes to wreck our crap. No! Long way down. So this must be my halfway point, hopefully. Somewhere around that region anyway. Which hopefully might lead back to the surface. So is this the time for us to peel off? And finally go back to Dahna and do a little bit of subquesting? Because I'm sure weakening this guy, like taking out those lights, might be a good idea. Nothing I can do here. Nothing I can do here. A fast travel point we don't want to find. My god, is there really not one anywhere? Where's the go back up to the surface warp? Showing a full map of Rena with your current location. You're coming out the other side now. You're on course to the center. This must lead to the flower of Rena. Sure. Hooray!
We're back in that other room? Did the teleporter fail or something?
Something feels off about it.
Look! Everything's upside down!
The furnishings are at least. No, you're right. The whole room's flipped on its head.
So what was once down is now up, and vice versa. I suppose the teleporter reversed our orientation then.
I guess it would need to, depending on gravity fields. The teleport to the entrance is now active. It's now time for us to make our retreat. So maybe see about doing some other things. Because I'm not even kidding. People have been asking me to do subquests for a while. I cannot not hear the plea. We made it out. So there we go. There's the halfway. Regular air recruit remnants. We also got a ton of materials, a ton of good stuff along the way. So I'm happy about that. And a ton of experience, because I think we went from, what was it, 47 to 51 during all of that? Which is not that bad, is it? Right, so I guess I could fast travel out wherever I need to go. happens if I do re-enter the ship? Wait, how do you re-enter the ship? Oh, from the control thing. Select destination. Land back at the big volcano, can you? Hey. We got there. Right, so this is time for our escape to do some quests here, there, and everywhere. We've been in a long, I think more than 10-hour block of storyline at that point in time. And finally got back to the dungeons where the nice experience was.
Back in on the ranch?
It's time for us to palate cleanse a little bit. See what we can get and do across the world because, man, I usually do not take that far away from doing subquests. I usually am doing the subquests as they appear. Let's go to our weapon crafting and see that we can indeed craft new weapons. Interestingly, they're from further in, the drops. What? So if I was to go further on from the point I was at, I could make a load new weapons. And get more powerful. The blue shield can be made at this point. It seems like most of the rest is possibly further on in there or some other thing. Look at this. Oblivion ring. Some of these are looking kind of fancy, you know? Realm Unifier. Why is the iron pipe that I have? Oh, look at that. I mean, it's pretty. It looks like it would just shatter, but, you know. Adamantine tendon. Do I continue onwards just to see if I can get myself some more stuff here, there, and everywhere now as well, you know? Oh. God, I want that on my monk on Final Fantasy. Look at that. Look at that. Tasty. Get you the blue shield then. Doesn't look very fancy, sadly. I can't get you any better stuff there. Should be able to sell the platinum chunks, which is only 10,000. Apart from that, you can buy Sapphire Guard from here, but that's not obviously the top tier. We could restock on our orange gel, so that costs quite a lot too. It was a lot less than I can make than I thought.
Hammers banging away.
Apart from that, yes. Mystic Crest can now be made. I was wondering if it could, because of course... Uncover the ultimate ingredient. No. Mystic Crest. Accessory forged. Just forging one will get me a title unlock. So that's not bad to go for. Even if it's not necessarily a good one. I mean, we can go just up for the tier 5 though. Light dark damage minus 10%. Casting time down is pretty cool. AG recovery speed, attack, and half AG cost as well. Decreased aggro large though? Sounds pretty good. I'd say this one is the better of the two to make for the start. I mean, it's fire damage. And if we were to put this on her, on Shionne, it's fire damage plus 7.5%, aggro down, dark damage up, and BG charge rate too. The casting time down. He's pretty not bad. I mean, we have to unlock the stuff too. But, yeah. So what do we feed it? I must have like tons of some things. Increased aggro large. See, there must be something that's just got an absolute ton of them in it. Like, here we go, Awakening Pebbles. I'm not even gonna look at what they are. Stat boost on enemy defeats. That's level 3. Transcendent Petals have quite a lot as well. Oh my goodness, it's actually quite a lot to do to upgrade it by the look of it. Leave the Astral Ore. Hexbreaker, I have a ton of them as well. No curse. See, I might be trading away some actually good traits, which would be very annoying. Yes, that one does look pretty good for Shionne. Fashionista. Increase normal attack limit. Also get Dispel, an intermediate healing art that cures physical ailments for all allies. Pretty good. I mean, I want that, but I also really want that. That's good. It's resistance plus 50. Remember we were going through that
pretty good.
without the big buffs. Oh, I feel like I should be going through that dungeon even more for the weapons now. I'm not even kidding. A Grit Emblem, we switch over then. Casting time down, faster heals. Better heals. But I'm going to go now to
We
camp.
should be able to cook here.
Because there must be like tons of like skits that I've missed. It's definitely at least one skit I've missed. I know that for certain.
Why are you staring at me?
I could ask the same thing.
So this is how the Sovereign and Maiden are supposed to look. You two go great together.
Law, come stand between us.
Oh, sure. You want me to put something white on as well?
Of course she doesn't.
Take a closer look, Shionne. It's a miracle.
What are you talking about?
This outfit, it's already got blue accents on it.
So I see.
Okay, the joys of eating.
I love how much amazing food we get to eat even when we're out on the road.
Me too, especially compared to what I used to have when I was still a slave. This is paradise.
It's amazing what good food can do to keep your hopes up. Nagal used to say all the time that the power of food is subtle, yet profound.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? For whatever reason, I find I don't worry nearly as much when I've got a full stomach helping me out.
That's why you shouldn't be such a picky eater.
Huh?
She's right. You always leave food that you don't like on your plate when you're done.
Come on, what's the big deal?
Back in the day, I couldn't think about leaving any food. It was such a waste not to eat at all. You needed every last scrap of energy.
Exactly. Even when my brother and I didn't have much to eat, we all did what we could to make it taste good and enjoy what we had.
That definitely explains a lot about why you cook the way you do, Kisara.
Dohalim, I bet you don't know what any of that's like. You must be used to food being handed to you on a silver platter.
Sometimes it was gold.
You didn't shy away from that at all.
Although, there was one experience that does come to mind.
Oh?
When I first learned that the food I ate originally came from animals and fish, I was rather taken aback.
You just ate whatever was in front of you without even thinking about it?
That's a silver-spooned elite for you.
We've got zealous taste testing as well to go. By the way, I'm thinking of actually going back up to Rena. And for those items to try and get some new weapons. I think that's actually a really good idea to do. Just to power ourselves up a bit more before a subquest.
Your cooking has really improved, Shionne.
It's because of you that I understand what makes it so fun. I'm glad everyone seems to enjoy what I make too.
I've noticed a disturbing trend that after it's your turn to cook, our ingredients tend to run really low. What's up with that?
That is a good point, Law. There's a weird difference between the amount of ingredients she prepares and how much food actually gets served. Curious. Very curious indeed.
I don't know. Isn't it pretty normal for veggies to shrink a little when you fry them up?
Or maybe she eats all the bad batches herself so we won't notice.
Come on, I wouldn't do anything like that.
Then how would you explain the difference?
Ahem. I have a theory that I wish to propose.
What is it?
As we all know, Shionne here can have quite the appetite. I imagine she often taste tests her own food as she prepares it. By my eye, it would appear that her footprints are leaving deeper impressions as of late. Far be it from me to level such an accusation, but the facts lead me to conclude that...
She's been snacking while she cooks.
And yet, she still looks so slender in her clothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious, actually.
Wait a sec, are you guys trying to say she's...
I'm what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
The injured immortal. See, we've been missing all these skits.
Shionne, about that fight just now.
Sorry about that. I was careless.
I didn't come to criticize you. Just please take better care of yourself.
You don't need to worry about me. In case you forgot, I can't exactly die anyway. It's like how you used to not care about getting beat up because you couldn't feel pain, and then I was the one to patch you up. It's the same thing.
You're right. That is how I used to be. But this isn't the same.
Then what do you mean? How is what's happening now different from what happened then?
It's different now.
Look, if you mean because you can feel pain again,
It's because I don't want to see you getting hurt. You're right. When I couldn't feel any pain, I put myself in all sorts of dangerous situations. I didn't listen to anybody's warnings, and I made a lot of people worried for no good reason. It was foolish. This isn't about you and me being able to take pain. I don't want to have to see you get hurt, Shionne. It's too much for me to take. Is that a crazy thing to say?
No, it isn't. And I definitely don't like seeing you get hurt either, Alphen. We can't expect our enemies to show us any mercy, but I will do my best not to throw myself in harm's way out there either. How does that sound?
I'm sorry if I sounded harsh earlier. I didn't mean to. I just really want you to take better care of yourself.
I will. At least, for as long as I can.
I knew a campfire was waiting to give us lots of stuff. If we go to reminisce as well, there's at least one skit that I missed. And I'm pretty sure it's the point where I was getting on the ship after Ifrit Malin where everything's going on, because I think it's talking about the lights. Free to go.
What do you know? Another big fire monster with nothing better to do than get in our way.
I wonder where the rest of those lights ended up landing. It looked like they were pretty scattered.
Well, whatever they're after, let's just hope none of them are anywhere near a city. An ambush on civilians is the last thing we need.
Well, no rest for the wicked, right? Though with 1 down and 3 to go, it sounds like our headache is just beginning.
I thought you liked the opportunity to flex your muscles.
Against those things? It's not like I have a death wish. Besides, we've already got our hands full saving the world. Dying stupidly won't be much help to the cause.
Yeah, I guess I can't argue with that logic. Sorry.
I think there's any others I missed, but I did notice I missed that while doing a check before the stream. So, with resting to do, we could go back and see if we can get some ingredients from the rooms just slightly further on. With that in mind, what I could do, because there must be some more fighting to do in there, it's nice to retreat. We could use our experience boost M, which requires a boss fish and make a fish steak, because that's probably going to have a skit as well. So let's make that.
Done. This is sure to give the others some much needed energy. Well, how's it taste?
The meat is just the right texture and firmness. You can easily taste all of the ingredients that went into it.
I'm impressed you can cut up such a huge fish.
The basic procedure doesn't really change whether a fish is big or small. All it takes is practice.
Still, I feel a little bad eating this fish. It's supposed to be a pretty rare species, isn't it?
I'm the type who fishes for food first and foremost. Once I catch something, I cook it up with care so it doesn't go to waste. Don't worry, I took an imprint of it for posterity before I turned it into steak.
The meat is so thick. It almost reminds me a little of beef.
What's the difference? Isn't it all meat at the end of the day, regardless of where it comes from?
Says the guy who always complains about it not being red meat whenever we have fish.
Look, as long as it tastes good, I don't care what it is.
Even vegetables?
I'm talking about meat!
It looks thick because that's how big the fish was. There's still plenty to go around, so feel free to have more if you want it.
Sure, I'll take another slice.
Better grab it while you can, everyone.
And with resting comes these moments too, which is part of the things we've been missing. We haven't been resting, so we haven't been getting any of these done.
Shionne, could we talk a moment?
I thought you had something to talk about. I was waiting on you.
Not really. Why? Should I leave you alone when I don't?
No, it's fine.
We used to really have to force these conversations when we started talking to each other, didn't we?
To say the least. Hey.
What is it?
Do you think you'd like to make something together?
Make what exactly?
Just if you wanna make dinner together. What did you think I meant?
Huh? Dinner? Oh, dinner, yes. Yes, of course. Dinner. Right.
What did you think I was talking about?
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, what did you have in mind?
Well, do you recognize these ingredients?
This is... Wait, is this?
So you remember? That's right. We're going to fix the very first meal we ever had together. Although I remember it not being well received when we had it.
You still remember that, huh? I'm sorry, Shionne.
I'm just teasing you, Alphen. I picked this recipe because it's easy to make, and I thought it would be a good choice for dinner, too. Anyway, let's get to work. With both of us making it, we should be finished in no time.
I never thought we'd end up eating alone like this again. Just the two of us.
Yeah. So much has changed when you look back on it. Well, I guess maybe not what we're eating, but still.
No, I'd say even that's changed too, in a sense. Our meals are a whole lot better now.
True. We've both come quite a long way in the culinary arts.
That's not exactly what I mean. How do I put it? It feels like eating together is a lot more enjoyable than it used to be.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Even after our battles are done, when Dahna is saved and our mission is finished, we'll probably still be sitting down to dinner like this, night after night.
Yep, I doubt that much will change. You've always got to eat at some point.
I hope our dinners will always feel like this.
Maybe not exactly like this. Hopefully we won't still be camping out.
Oh, no, not at all. I meant in a nice, warm house. One with a roof over our heads and a proper fireplace, instead of an open campfire.
And real chairs instead of these logs. Nice plates and silverware on a big dining table. Oh, and a proper kitchen. That'd be nice too.
And when it's time to fix dinner, we'll be in that kitchen.
Standing side by side.
Whoops. Looks like we made too much. I don't think we'll be able to finish all this.
Yeah, you're right. I'll see if anybody else is still awake. I'd really hate to have to throw it away.
Side by side, huh?
Aw.
I think it's time we go to sleep.
Master Art. Shionne has just learnt Explosive Charge.
Did you get enough sleep?
Shionne. To execute an overlimit, hold 2 of the following buttons with a 5+ combo performed using separate arts. She just got a new gun strike special art. Cool. Maybe we'll see that. Maybe we won't. Let's return to the planet. Rena. I think Faisal has a quest. What? Let's return to where we were at. And kill a couple of enemies to see if we can get some ingredients for a little bit.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
I want to see if there are new enemies past this point that give ingredients for new weapons. We're not lied to. I will be doing side quest shortly. Honest. Oh my god. I've never had anyone like never before has chat all come together against me for not doing subquests. Never before has this taken place.
I guess this is the flip side of that pathway we were walking on just a little while ago.
This is crazy. Who knew such amazing technology existed?
Everything's topsy-turvy and that's all you can think about?
Bear in mind, the core of Rena now sits above us. I pray that we won't encounter many stairs along the way.
What the hell's that?
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Astral Dale.
Now you see what I can do!
Wind astral energy! Illuminate the dark! Wait, this is gonna need all of our skills! Go for the weak point! Sealed!
The weak point? Oh, it's actually got one?
More for the lunar corruption! Come over! By the power of Gemini Alpha! Annihilation! Ice cream!
Now, while it's freely!
Take it down!
Armor won't save you!
Radiant here! Burning!
You're mine!
Radiant alert!
No further!
Freaking half his health, that's not bad.
More for the stop! Radiant power!
Raining flash! The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Light astral energy!
We should bond with Kasara then if bonding gets second arts, if you know what I mean.
Raining flash! Blow away! Eat dirt!
Holy glimmer!
You're mine!
I'll take you all on!
But if there's new enemies here, then that means that most likely some new materials are definitely here as well.
They're about for interrupting.
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Ah, right. Blow away!
Ready and quick!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Tap.
In an instant! Impact Claw!
The music changed pretty cool too.
Good weapon crafting material.
It is new, and literally it's basically saying straight off the bat, weapon crafting material. Exactly what we've come here for. So let's grab some quick from some various monsters around the place, as there seems to be thorns growing out everywhere, eh?
What are those? They look like Shionne's thorns, and with flowers too.
Not real ones, though. They're just like that flower growing out of Rena.
We must be getting close to the Great Spirit now.
Hey, Rinwell, what was that thing you said about how a little bit of Dahna's Great Spirit is inside all of us?
Right. That's why Dahna's Great Spirit is so much more diluted. Weak, even. Whether it was a choice so it didn't overpower others, or just the way it is anyone's guess.
If that's true, then wouldn't it mean Dahna's will could never form under natural conditions?
Yeah, sounds like that's probably the case.
So if Dahna exists within all of us, then what if something occurred that brought everyone's hearts and minds together as one? That unity could potentially act as Dahna's will.
You mean if everybody was, like, thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time? Come on, there's no way we could pull that off.
I know it's a long shot, but it might work.
Let's assume that's even possible for a second. Would it even be enough to fight back against Rena's Great Spirit?
If nothing else, it might be an option if we can't use the Rena's Alma.
Things are different here than on the surface.
That shows how deeply we've ventured into Rena.
And how close we've come to the real enemy.
Finding the Rena's Alma.
So here's a question. We came all this way to Rena on the assumption the Rena's Alma's here, right?
Just don't say it, Law.
Yeah, but I'm just saying...
I said don't.
I can understand why you might be concerned, Law. But you need to remember that there are people it affects more directly than you.
Oh, sorry.
We've managed to make it this far believing. Losing faith now won't do us any good. We're better off focusing our anxiety elsewhere.
Such as?
The Great Spirit. If Hevrecht 35's to be believed, our enemy won't just be handing over the Rena's Alma to us. At least, not without a fight.
Not only that, but that same enemy just gulped down more than an entire world's worth of astral energy.
Point taken. It may be strange to say, but when I'm fighting, or at least know what needs to be done, it helps me a lot. I don't doubt myself as much. So thanks, both of you.
And with age comes wisdom.
The floor's on the ceiling and the ceiling's on the floor. This whole thing's making my head spin. Why would they even do something like this?
The Helganquil can bend life forms to suit their will. Nothing they could do at this point would surprise me.
The ceiling is on the floor. That doesn't weird you out?
What good is a team made up of members who all share the same opinions on everything? And besides, when you get to be at my ripe old age, one begins to consider it quite uncouth to show one's true emotions at times.
Oh, come on, Grandpa. You can't be that old.
The sands of time wait for none of us, lad.
Yeah, we'll see. Though at this rate, I guess I'll have to live long enough to get as old as you first, huh?
You will. And when the time comes, I look forward to hearing you change your tune on the matter.
Right, let's go get ourselves some more enemy material, shall we?
No choice.
This one's
Like
mine.
moths to the flame.
If it's in the sky, it's mine.
I'm not
Lunar
done.
corruption.
Prepare to be sealed.
Whoa. They may look cute
Take
stuff,
this.
but they're big here.
Do it! Shionne!
Go for it.
Prepare to crumble!
Think we overdid it?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
No escape. Raining slash. The flame inside me yearns to be let free.
There's an attack coming into me, but I've just not really let it really happen.
Blew away.
Hurricane
Raining flash.
back into the
Raining flash. Blew away.
By the power
Now. Look sharp. Lightning tiger blade.
A chain
You're
between
mine.
hurricane flight.
No escape.
Blew
away.
Lightning. Hurricane
Blew away.
Here's the evil. Chain flare. Here's a hero.
Grab me in. It didn't do much damage, I will admit.
Please, don't mention it.
I'm glad to know someone's got my back.
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that isn't true.
No, I mean you're even...
Astral energy. Full throttle.
Well, that'll get me some drops.